When I agreed to the head transplant, I knew it was risky. But I didn't have a choice. My body was failing me, disease eating away at my muscles, organs shutting down one by one. The doctors said this was my only hope, my only chance to live. So I said yes, trusting them to do the impossible. The surgery took hours. I don't remember any of it, of course, just the cold operating room, the bright lights above, and the mask they placed over my face to put me under. Then, darkness. When I woke up, everything was off. At first, I couldn't move. My eyes were heavy, and my limbs felt foreign, like they didn't belong to me. The room was quiet, too quiet, except for the faint beeping of the machines around me. I tried to speak, to ask what had happened, but no sound came out. Panic started to set in. My thoughts raced. Why couldn't I move? Why couldn't I speak? I strained to look around, forcing my eyes to open. The room was sterile, white walls and medical equipment everywhere. But there was no one else there, no doctor, no nurse, no one. My heart pounded in my chest. I had to move, I had to do something. Slowly, I managed to lift my hand, but when I looked down at it, I froze. The hand wasn't mine. It was larger, with thicker fingers and scars I didn't recognize. It was someone else's hand. A wave of nausea hit me as I realized the truth. This wasn't my body. The transplant had worked, sort of. My head was attached to someone else's body, but it didn't feel right. Nothing felt right that I reached up, touching my face, my neck. There were stitches, thick and rough, running all the way around. I could feel the tightness where my skin was sewn together with someone else's. It was grotesque, a patchwork of flesh. I wanted to scream, but again, nothing came out. Just then, the door creaked open, and a doctor walked in. He was older, with gray hair and a weary expression. When he saw that I was awake, he hesitated, his face betraying something I didn't want to see, fear. He approached me slowly, as if I were a wild animal that might lash out. "How do you feel?" he asked, his voice shaky. I tried to speak again, and this time, a raspy whisper escaped. "What did you do to me?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he checked the machines, his hands trembling slightly. "The surgery, it was more complicated than we anticipated," he finally said. "There were issues with the connection, the nerves, the muscles. Your body is rejecting parts of the new one." I could barely process what he was saying. My mind was spinning. "Fix it," I managed to rasp. "Please." He looked at me with sorrow in his eyes. "We're trying, but there's more. The brain is struggling to adapt to the new body. We didn't anticipate how much the body's memories would interfere with yours." I didn't understand what he meant. Memories? This wasn't just my head on another body. There was something else, something deeper. And then, it hit me. Flashes of images, thoughts that weren't mine, feelings I didn't recognize. They flooded my mind, overwhelming me. A life I hadn't lived, memories of places I'd never been, people I'd never met. They weren't just invading my thoughts, they were becoming part of me. I grabbed the doctor's arm, desperation in my voice. "I'm losing myself," I said, my voice trembling. "I can feel it." He nodded, his expression grim. "It's the body's way of trying to reconcile the two identities. The brain is trying to merge, but it's causing conflict. You may start to forget who you are, what's real and what isn't." Terror gripped me. I was losing control, becoming someone else, someone I didn't want to be. I could feel the other person's thoughts creeping into my mind, pushing mine aside. Their emotions, their desires, it was like they were taking over. "I'm scared," I whispered, tears welling up in my eyes. The doctor placed a hand on my shoulder. "We're doing everything we can," he said, but his voice lacked conviction. "But you need to fight. Hold on to who you are. Don't let go." But even as he spoke, I could feel it slipping away, my memories, my identity, everything that made me who I was. The other person's life was swallowing mine whole. That I looked into the doctor's eyes, pleading, but I knew the truth. It was too late. The transplant had gone wrong. I wasn't just losing my body. I was losing my mind, my soul, everything that made me, me. And soon, there would be nothing left.